Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. And if you want a Nissan Titan XD diesel with the 5.0 Cummins V8, you better go out and hurry up and get one now, because it's coming to an end. So I got home from work and I thought, well, I'm gonna breeze through the internet and see what's out there and see if anything, good's happened today or anything. So I started breezing through like Google and Yahoo, and I came across this article. So I did some research on it, and kind of here's what I come up with, and it started me thinking about the Tundra. We'll get into that here in a minute, but I kind of want to go over what's going on with Nissan. So like I said before, if you want a Titan V8 Cummins diesel, run out and get one, because in December of this year, 2019, they are no more. They're canceling that, they're dropping that, they're going to an all V8 lineup. Even the XD, which they are keeping, will be a V8 version of the XD. It will not be the diesel. And the weird thing is Diesel actually built this motor for Nissan specifically for their Titan, and now they're canceling it. The Titan XD was introduced in 2016, and not but 3 years later, it's axed. Now, one thing about it, we do not know how many more is scheduled to be delivered to dealers. We don't know how many more they're going to make. Nothing about that was said. They said they didn't know. So, like I said, if you want one, you might want to hurry out and get one. Now, it's not a half-ton truck, and it's not a full 3/4-ton truck. It's kind of an in-between truck, and that might be why they didn't sell as well, because, if people wanted something with a diesel engine in it, they probably wanted something bigger, like a Dodge Ram or something that offered almost 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, or they may even have 1,000 foot-pounds of torque this year. I don't know, but it's crazy. And then it's almost directly competing with the Dodge Eco Diesel, which my buddy has one of them, and he says he's getting like 30 miles a gallon, 30 plus miles a gallon in that Eco Diesel. That's pretty amazing. He's had nothing but good luck with his. I've never test drove it, I've never drove it or looked at it. I've seen it, but I've never actually got in and looked at it or anything like that. And he loves his Eco Diesel. Now, I know that's a half-ton truck, and that XD is supposedly larger than that. It can tow up to like 12,830 pounds, they said. I'm not sure what the Dodge can actually tow, but in my mind, the size of the Titan was actually in direct competition with the Eco Diesel. Dodge has a huge reputation for their diesel trucks. It would just be very hard to compete with that, and it would be even harder to compete with the Chevy Duramax and the Ford F-250 and 350s. Now, I do want to say that it said that Titan sold 2,242 trucks last month. Now, that's total. That's not just the diesels, that's also the gas burners. I'm not sure how Nissan's actually keeping that truck in their lineup, selling that many, seeing that that's about as many trucks as Ford sells in a day. One day. They sold as many Titans combined in a month as Ford sold in a day. Now, Nissan, in my opinion, I've always had good luck with Nissans. Okay, let me get that out there. I've had numerous Nissan vehicles, whether it's trucks, Pathfinders, SUVs, Xteras, cars. I've had really good luck with Nissans, but you just don't see as many of them on the road as you used to, which leads me to believe, how much longer can Nissan sustain? And maybe they sell a lot overseas and stuff like that, but nowadays, when it comes to cars and stuff, you see a lot more Toyotas and Hondas and stuff like that. I know Ford's basically phased out their cars, because I'm going to assume Honda's probably got the car market cornered. And with the Toyota Corolla and Camry, they're probably not doing bad themselves. But Honda probably is the top dog when it comes to like Accord and Civics. So, I don't know how well Nissan's actually sustaining with sales numbers like this. Now, I do want to say the Titan is getting a refreshed look in 2020. They didn't really go into that. Nissan, I don't think, had a statement or something about that. But in 2020, Nissan's supposed to have a whole refreshed look. I'm not sure when they're going to debut that. 2019 is starting to come to a head. So if they're going to debut that, they probably need to get on the stick. I mean, it's getting close to time for 2020 models coming out, and maybe they meant they were going to debut it in 2020, but the way I took it, it was a 2020 model that was going to be refreshed for that year. Don't know what the fresh is going to look like. Don't know if it's going to be a larger truck, if it's going to be more the size of a Tundra or an F-150. Not sure about that, but my Tundra is cavernous. It's even bigger than a Silverado and stuff, so, you know. But getting into the Tundra, that's a good segue into this. It made me wonder if Toyota had enough foresight or just believed enough that a diesel option in their trucks just would not sell enough to actually justify the R&D that it would take to develop such a vehicle. There is a ton of R&D that goes into stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you think it's just throwing like an engine in there and maybe a new transmission, or maybe even linking the engine to the current transmission. But when you're talking about upping your towing capacity, you've got gears in those transmissions that probably have to be upgraded to be able to be deemed suitable to pull that amount of weight. So I'd imagine they would have to upgrade the transmissions. Then you're probably going to have to upgrade your suspension. So you got your suspension angles and stuff like that, and the spring stiffness and stuff that all has to be, you know, calibrated into the equation of what they need to support that heavier engine, probably, being that it's a diesel, depending on which diesel option they go with, and the fact that you're going to now be able to tow more than you can tow with just your, you know, 5.7 liter V8 Tundra engine. And it made me wonder about that, because I get comments all the time on my channel. It's like, hey, do you think Tundra will ever, or Toyota will ever come out with a Tundra in a diesel option? And after seeing this, I'm gonna say I doubt it. The main reason I say that, I love my Tundra, I really do. I think they're very, very reliable, but you are going in direct competition with Ford F-250s and 350s, like I said before. The Dodge Cummins diesel, which is an awesome truck. My buddy has one of them, and it is a beast. And the Chevy Duramax. The big three really have the diesel market cornered, and it would be very hard for an outsider such as Nissan in this case, and Toyota, to come out of left field and take over any major part of that market share. It's just probably not going to happen, because you have these big three that are tried, true, and tested in their diesel options. They all have pros and cons in those offerings. They all have weak points and strong points in the big threes, and some people pick, you know, certain trucks over those weaknesses and strong points. But now you're bringing in something such as the Nissan that isn't tried, true, and tested. It is something just out of left field that nobody had ever seen before, and then they're throwing it into a market where somebody already has a tight grip on the market shares that's in that market that they're trying to enter into. So I don't think Toyota would do that. I mean, they don't actually build and sell that many Tundras now as it is, compared to, you know, the big scheme of things. They sell way more Tacomas than they do Tundras, and I think I read somewhere one time that that's because they can't produce any more Tundras in the plant they're in. Now, I'm sure they could, if they had a you know, a demand for that many more trucks. Toyota is smart enough to actually expand their business just like everybody else does. If they could sell, you know, 50,000 more trucks a year, I'm sure they would expand their facility or find another facility to produce these trucks in. But I just don't know that that is actually there, and that's probably why they don't do that. Now, there is a refresh also coming out with Tundra in 2020, and then the complete redo in 2021. And I can't wait to see that, but I still don't think there'll be a diesel option. I've heard a lot of like electrical motors and stuff like that, and if that is the case, I am very happy that I have my 5.7. No way am I wanting to trade that for anything electrical right now. I've always said I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be like combustion engine charging electrical motors and stuff, or if you're going to have to plug that truck in. I've not read up enough on that to know what's going to happen or the rumor mill around it. But if it's anything you have to charge, I am totally out on that. You don't get enough, you know, distance wise to to say, hey, I'm going to go with that. I go on long trips to Florida and stuff, and I just couldn't do that. So if that's actually what they're going towards, I hope it's a combustion engine that actually runs these 2 electrical motors. You don't have to charge them like some of the other Tesla trucks and stuff like that. But that is what I wanted to get at. Did Toyota have enough foresight to say, this isn't going to work, we can't compete with them, let's call it a day? Again, if you're wanting a Titan diesel, you better run out and get one, because the time's slipping away. December 2019, they're going to be all gone. Appreciate you watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you guys next time.